Readers make connections between what they know and what they're reading. And whenever we can connect something new to something known, we're more apt to remember it. There are 3 common types of connections: text to self, text to text, and text to world. Now, for me, text to self connections are those connections where a student says, that happened to me. I experienced that. I personally have felt like that. A text to text connection is when something in this text reminds me of something else in another text. Putting those 2 together is called a text to text connection. And finally, there's text to world connections. And for some teachers, I think they too narrowly define this as simply making connections to current events. If that's your sole definition of text to world, then you'll quickly dismiss it as something kids can do, because for a lot of us, the students in our classrooms barely know what's going on in our country, let alone the world. Wait. Although text to world connections can include references to current events, it's not limited to that literal interpretation. Rather, broaden your definition of text to world. Think of it more as worldly knowledge, general knowledge, things everybody knows. Let me give you an example. If I walk into any classroom and simply announce that babies poop a lot, the kids are going to look at me, nod, and say, uh-huh. And I'll say, how do you know that? You mean, do you have a younger sibling at home and you know this from personal experience? Do you do a lot of babysitting? And they'll say, no. And I'll say, did you read a book about babies and that's how you know this? And they'll say, no. And I'll say, well, wait a minute. If you don't have text to self and text to text knowledge, how do you know this? And their answer is always the same. Mrs. Smekens, everybody knows that. That's the sign of a text to world connection. It's just general knowledge. They haven't personally experienced it. They haven't read it anywhere. They just picked it up over the course of their life. And you know one of the places they get most of their general knowledge? Television. So when encouraging students to make connections while reading, don't be too quick to dismiss the text to world connections. In fact, for some of your students, this might be the most abundant of the connections they can make. If their text to self experiences are limited and they're not a big reader, then text to self and text connections might be minimal.